Well, joining us now is our Deputy Director of News and Judiciary Editor, Toby Shoni. It's been a while. Good to see you on Newsnight.
Yeah, thank you.
Where do we begin to unpack this issue from? There's a moral angle to it, and there's the issue of the ground norm, which is the 1999 Constitution that says a person is qualified for pension, must have served for at least 10 years. But in the case of the governors and the deputy, best case scenario, 8 years. They serve between 4 to 8 years. Let's take it from there.
Well,
is it against the Constitution? I mean, legality or otherwise of this
well, let me,
benefit?
I'll come to the question. Let me start by commending the Abia State government for taking the bull by the horn and by repealing that law and call on other governors, other states to follow suit. So come back to the legality. Item 44 of the exclusive list listed pension. That is only the federal government that can legislate on pension. I take the view that the pension law by states are illegal and unconstitutional. It's only the federal government that can legislate on pension. It's an exclusive list. The states don't have that power. Right. But, you know, and I remember that Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project, SERAP, went to court and got another of mandamus compelling the then Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, SAN, to take action against the state, to ask court to declare those laws illegal, but he didn't do so. Rather, he filed a preliminary objection, which the court overruled. Even though the judgment went against him, he still did not comply with the court orders. And that is why those laws remain as they are today. But the other side of it is the morality.
Right.
Look at the economy. Look at what people are going through. If there is any time that we need to make sacrifice, the time is now.
There's no better time than now.
And luckily for us, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is the one who started this law in Lagos State. Now he's the president. He occupies a position that he can appeal to his former colleagues who are former state governors to say, look, let us make this sacrifice, at least in the interest of some of the policy that I've introduced that have caused hardship to the people. Let us relinquish this money. Let state use the money for something else. At least he occupies a prime position and God has given him the position. He can use it to influence things.
Positively.
The same thing applies to the Senate President. Akwa Ibom has such a law too. So the Senate President should, at least he has all the entitlement as Senate President. So while looking back at what Akwa Ibom will still pay him, so they need to relinquish those payments.
Because one wonders how we actually got here. Good thing you just reminded us how it started in Lagos. Even though some governors, some past governors, choose to excuse themselves of such benefits. It stretches into housing of your choice in
Lagos,
FCT,
Abuja,
and some other places. But again, speak to us. Can this also be linked to, if the president can truly do what you have just advised, cannot it also be linked to what he just said about travel for appointees, where he said, look, there's going to be an embargo for you to ask government to finance your trips, because we are in dire straits, and the Abia example seemed to be catching on.
Yeah, you are very correct. This is the time to cut costs. How do they always ask us, we should tighten our belts. We've over-tightened the belt. So what are they giving in return?
Yeah.
I mean, what's a better way to cut costs than for former governor to relinquish those entitlements? It's a very perfect way. So it's in line with what he's trying to do. That's why he may not need to use an executive fiat. He can call a meeting and say, look, we committee of former governors hereby agree to. Instead, if the state governors are lily liver, Many of them are not as independent as Otti, and they don't want to offend their former godfather. So if we are expecting other governors to follow Otti's steps, we'll be wasting our time. It's never going to happen.
Never going to happen?
It's not going to happen. But the president can make it happen.
Right.
He's occupying a position of influence. You don't expect Governor Sanwo-Olu to repeat the law that his benefactor is.
Sorry to cut here, Toby. So as former governor, former senator, now president, and even the vice president, former senator, can they lobby from the executive aspect and, you know, bring this before the National Assembly, some of the leadership, and see if this can actually become a national law, repealing it in its entirety?
Well, what they can do, they can amend the Contributory Pension Act. They can amend the Pension Act.
Right.
If they amend the Pension Act by inserting there some provisions that will make it legal for governor to earn salary if they are, I mean, there are two things. One, we can look at the case of a governor like Ikpeazu, who is not holding any post. And some people have expressed pity and say, okay, maybe they should allow him on humanitarian grounds. But what about somebody who left as governor, who is now serving as a minister?
So should we say
senator,
that law, if the law is amended, it should apply to those who go on to still hold a public office? Would that be fair?
Well, you said it. I think those who are, besides, there are laws against receiving two pensions.
Exactly.
Yeah, you cannot be collecting money as minister. I mean, you can, assuming the state owned is legal, you can at least merge it with the one you are earning now. But to earn from left and from right at the time when people are finding it difficult to eat, it's outrageous.
So you don't have a situation where it's ojemoimo tewe as Yorubas say. Don't ask me to translate.
Well, no, you have to.
In Yoruba, whoever speaks English in the house of his in-law,
you have to interpret that.
Okay, at least we know moi moi, eating the moi moi and the leaves used in wrapping the moi moi. I hope that's good enough. Well, there are about 8 people in this present cabinet that actually benefiting, you know, from this. So it's very important that the president, just like you've said, needs to look at this critically and say, look, gentlemen, we need to, you know, show leadership by example. So, well, where do we go from here? I mean, more than half of the 36 states in Nigeria are actually benefiting from this.
At least about 22 states have passed the law. And I'm sure, anyway, if we remove Abiana, we'll go back to 21. Well, we don't have much power. We still have to continue to appeal to them. Follow the leads. This is a win-win for Labour.
Yeah.
I mean, Governor Otti is a Labour-elected governor. So,
and he's making the right moves.
Yeah, at least the APC governor too should borrow a leaf from there. The PDP governor too should borrow a leaf from. If they really want to help our people, we want to empower our people. I mean, the money is small. You didn't serve as a governor in Abuja. Why does your state need to buy you a house in Abuja?
Yeah, 6 brand new cars every 3 years, free medical care for the officer and, of course, the family, domestic staff, house in Lagos and Abuja, and 30 million naira per annum. Well, this actually applies in the case of Lagos State. Toby Shoni, we'll have to say thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. And come back again soon.